Today, we have a very important topic to discuss that affects a lot of retirees out there. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's dive in. You know, retirement should be a time of relaxation and enjoying the fruits of your labor. But unfortunately, more and more retirees are finding themselves caught in a whirlwind of confusion and uncertainty when it comes to their health coverage during retirement. That's why I'm here today to shed some light on the shifting landscape of retiree health plans. But before we get into it, let me introduce myself for those who are new to the channel. I'm Holly Cohen, a licensed agent and founder of MedigapCares.org. I've been in the Medicare industry for years, helping retirees like yourselves navigate the complex world of health insurance when you retire. And I am passionate about empowering retirees with the knowledge they need to make informed decisions. So now let's talk about the issue at hand. So picture this: retirees whose former employers offer health coverage are being shifted away from original or traditional Medicare over to Medicare Advantage, often against their wishes. Can you believe that? The change is supposedly meant to save millions of dollars for these employers, but it's leaving retirees feeling uncertain and vulnerable. One retiree, we'll call him Bob, a retired New York City firefighter, faced a very terrifying situation. He needed a kidney transplant, and with the surgery approaching, the city and its labor union were negotiating to move retirees like Bob into privately run Medicare Advantage plans. Can you imagine the stress and fear he must have felt? Bob's story is just one example of a nationwide trend. Many employers have been dropping retiree health benefits, and those that still offer them are swiftly shifting retirees into Medicare Advantage. But here's the kicker: retirees may not fully understand the major differences between traditional Medicare and Medicare Advantage. So Medicare Advantage plans come with their own set of rules, like using specific doctors and hospitals within their network. And let's not forget the potential limitations on access to care. It's essential to know what you're getting into when making this transition. But it's not just about understanding the differences. We also need to talk about potential consequences. Experts warn that this shift to Medicare Advantage may lead to higher costs for taxpayers, not lower. All Medicare beneficiaries and even state-run Medicaid programs. Plus, there have been instances of denied necessary care in Medicare Advantage plans. It's a lot to consider. But don't worry, I've got your back. Through MedigapCares.org and the Medigap Show, I'm dedicated to providing you with all reliable, updated information about Medicare and any changes that ever come about regarding Medicare. Together, we can navigate the changing landscape of retiree health plans and ensure that you get the coverage that you deserve. Stay tuned. I'm going to be uncovering right now an article from the New York Times about the New York State retirees and what's going on in their situation. Here we go. More retiree health plans move away from traditional Medicare. Retirees whose former employers offer health coverage are being shifted to privately run Medicare Advantage, often against their wishes. The change saves millions for employers. Bob Bentkowski, a retired New York firefighter, has a rare, painful disease that caused his kidneys to swell almost to the size of basketballs. He needed a transplant. And in the fall of 2021, he found a donor after waiting for years, but was unsure whether Medicare would cover his surgery. New York City has long provided its retired employees with comprehensive health benefits that pay for most of their Medicare costs. But with his transplant approaching, the city and a coalition of its labor unions had thrown Mr. Bentkowski a curveball. Aiming to save $600 million annually, they were negotiating to shift 250,000 retirees out of traditional fee-for-service Medicare into a privately operated Medicare Advantage plan. I was panicking about what might happen if I moved over to this new plan, since I was only 1 month away from the surgery, Mr. Bentkowski said. But after hours on the phone with the insurance company, he was told that it couldn't give him an answer until he enrolled. They just give you the runaround. How am I going to join the plan when I don't know what it will cover? He's absolutely right. Ultimately, Mr. Bentkowski's surgery was covered under traditional Medicare. The city's plans for Medicare Advantage became bogged down now in litigation and political battles, with the opposition led by a group of New York City retirees who organized to fight not only the city but their own unions. Their battle has continued into this year. And still, by the way, as of this date, May 25th, 2023, the battle is still going on. The fight in New York City is a highly visible example of a nationwide shift in the way some retirees receive health insurance benefits from former employers, both in the public and private sector. It pits the drive to control healthcare costs against retired workers' pocketbook and health concerns. Many employers have dropped these benefits over the past several decades, and those that still offer them are shifting retirees into Medicare Advantage plans at a rapid pace. Half of large employers offering benefits to Medicare age retirees have contracts with Medicare Advantage plans, nearly double the share from 2017, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation. A roughly 44% don't give retirees a choice to use traditional Medicare within their programs. Most cited lower cost as the key reason. The growth of a bigger story about Medicare Advantage expansion. Advantage is an alternative to traditional Medicare offered by insurance companies, and it uses managed care techniques to control costs like HMO, PPO. Nearly half of Medicare beneficiaries were enrolled in Advantage plans last year, more than double the rate in 2007, and enrollment is projected to cross the 50% threshold as soon as this year, according to Kaiser Family Foundation. And as of this date, May 25th, 2023, Medicare Advantage has already crossed the 50% threshold for enrollees. Retirees who are shifted into Medicare Advantage plans may not fully understand the major difference from traditional Medicare. These include the requirement to use physicians and hospitals in their plan's narrower network and reduced access to care in some instances. A federal investigation concluded last year that tens of thousands of people in Medicare Advantage plans were denied necessary care that should be covered. This shift will also mean higher costs for taxpayers and all Medicare beneficiaries, some experts say. Payments by the federal government to Advantage plans average 102% of its spending on the fee-for-service traditional program, and that contributes to higher overall Medicare spending. This occurs in part because a bonus system awards extra dollars to those insurance plans that achieve high-quality ratings from Medicare. Advantage plans have also been found to submit to Medicare inflated bills that overdiagnose their patients. According to federal audits, the practice of upcoding crossed the line into fraud. Excess payments totaled $12 billion in 2020, according to the Independent Medicare Payment Advisory Commission, which advises Congress. The higher costs add financial pressure to Medicare's hospital insurance Part A trust fund, as well as the taxpayer's beneficiary and state-run Medicaid program that fund the Part B program. The Part A trust fund, it's forecast to run dry in 2028, leaving revenue sufficient to meet 90% of the program's obligations. So this change is happening all throughout the country, where retirees are finding themselves pulled off of original Medicare and shifted over to a Medicare Advantage plan. Instead of keeping their original Medicare, they're forced to a privatized plan, which does hinder their health care. Instead of them working directly with the fee-for-service traditional Part A, Part B, where their doctor orders anything medically necessary, it must be covered by original Medicare. That's how a lot of the retirees have had their health insurance for many, many years. They're being shifted to a privatized Medicare Advantage plan program, which is a completely different program. It's a replacement for someone's traditional or original Medicare. And it means that if someone needs something, some healthcare or treatment, many times it has to have prior authorization by the insurance company. And there's also out-of-pocket costs many times on those plans. The biggest deal is just taking them off the original Medicare and putting them on the replacement of that, which is having the retiree deal directly with an insurance company instead of how they had it before, which was anything their doctor ordered, that's considered medically necessary. Original or traditional fee-for-service Medicare that they were on would automatically pay 80% of their bill, and then their retirement plan picked up the 20%. So these people are being shifted to a Medicare Advantage plan where that is no longer their reality, and they have to deal directly with an insurance company many times now to get approvals. In most states, in order to if this happens to a retiree, if their plan goes from them being on original Medicare with their retirement benefit paying the remaining 20%, and they're being shifted to the privatized Medicare Advantage plan world, in order for them to get back to original Medicare, that they can do. But original Medicare does only pay 80% of their bill. So in most states, they also have to undergo an underwriting process with about 26 to 30 health questions, and then either be approved or denied by an insurance company for their Medigap or their Medicare supplement plan if they have been on Medicare for more than 6 months in their lifetime. So it really puts people in a very awful position, because if they're being taken off original Medicare, they worked 30 or 40 years of their life for this wonderful retirement plan. It's been shifted to a privatized Medicare Advantage program where they're not going to get the same health care that they had before. And if they want to go back to original Medicare, they then have to, in most states, go through this underwriting process to enroll in a Medigap plan, like a Plan G, a Plan F, a Plan N, which those Medigap, also called Medicare supplement plans, will pay that 20%. They may not be able to get it because there's health questions involved. So that wraps up this informative video on what's going on with the New York retirees and retiree plans in general across the United States, and how Medicare is being handled. When I first started in this business and talking to Medicare beneficiaries, there were so many union plans and retiree plans, and they were excellent plans. And I would say over the last 4 years, they have gone by the wayside. I never hear about union plans anymore that are of any quality. They're no longer on traditional Medicare. Anyone that I speak to that are on group retiree plans or offered them are all offered Medicare Advantage, and no longer offer traditional Medicare with a Medigap plan that would cover everything for that individual. They're put on these Medicare Advantage plans with a PPO or an HMO network and large out-of-pockets. Even if the group Advantage plan doesn't have a large max out-of-pocket, there are still restrictions, networks, prior authorizations, jumping through hoops to get the treatment they need. Anyway, if you like this video, please hit the like button. Please, I love your comments. Please comment below. This video was made for someone that did comment, so I'm more than happy to take your requests to make videos. I do a lot of research on Medicare and what's out there involving Medicare these days. So take care and be well.